This past weekend at the Freedom Summit held down here in Florida, which, just wasn't really a Freedom Summit. It was, in fact, just a gathering of conservative weirdos, but it featured Donald Trump. Chris Christie, for some reason, was also invited to speak. And one of the people who spoke at this event happens to be Florida's chief financial officer, a man by the name of Jimmy Patronis. Now, Mr. Patronis is not a household name, nor should he be. I mean, honestly, I've lived in Florida my whole life. I didn't even know we had a chief financial officer, but we do, and it's a man by the name of Jimmy Patronis. So why are we even talking about Mr. Patronis? Because Mr. Patronis got up on stage, and he suggested that as the chief financial officer of Florida, Republican of course, he suggested that we use taxpayer funds in the state of Florida to set up a legal defense fund for Donald Trump to fight the charges against him. This man, Jimmy Patronis, wants to use my money to defend Donald Trump in court, and the money of every other Florida resident. And yes, I use myself as an example there because, this is personal. Some of that is my money. I don't want a penny of my money going to pay for the legal defense of this alleged billionaire. He should have plenty of money to fight these charges himself, to hire good lawyers. But I'll be damned if any of my money is going to be used to spend on that. Here is what Mr. Patronis said. If we could fix the double standard of justice that doesn't lock up a Hunter Biden, but does everything possible to prosecute a President Donald Trump, here's where I'm going with this. I think we need to set up a new legal defense fund for any Florida presidential candidate to use when they're targeted by politically motivated prosecutors by the Department of Justice. When these men and women are brave enough to put their name on the ballot, we should protect them, he says. Are you with me? We need to fund this. Our state right now is in the best fiscal health we've ever been in the history of the state, so it wouldn't hurt to take a little bit of our budget surplus, set it aside. We can use this to protect any Floridian who wants to defend themselves and make sure that these politically motivated prosecutors don't magically appear during election cycles. It's just wrong. We could even call it the Defending Florida Fighters Fund. How about you call it a gross abuse of power here in the state of Florida? Donald Trump is not being politically persecuted. He is being criminally prosecuted for allegedly breaking the law. I don't care if you're a MAGA hat wearing member of the cult or, a bleeding heart liberal here in the state of Florida. None of our money should be going to defend this alleged billionaire in court. Here's what also makes me mad about this story. Now, recently, here at Ring of Fire, I talked about the fact in a YouTube video that the state of Florida has witnessed a mass exodus of insurance companies, homeowners insurance companies. They're no longer willing to protect property here in the state of Florida because it costs too much for them, right? We've got tons of natural disasters down here, so they're getting out. And I'm not just talking about like Joe Schmo Insurance. I'm talking about big name insurance companies, the one you hear the jingles for every time you turn on the TV. Like, they're all over the place. They're big, multi-billion-dollar corporations that have led the state that is now, by the way, also leading to an exodus of residents from the state of Florida. So if Florida does, in fact, have this budget surplus that Mr. Patronis says they have, which, for the record, is actually about $5 billion lower than what his office had estimated it would be. But either way, if you guys have this money, it's about $17 billion that you're just sitting on, you don't know what to do with. How about you use that to subsidize the homeowners insurance companies so they come back to Florida so that we might actually be able to protect ourselves the next time a hurricane hits? I don't know, that to me kind of seems like a smarter use of our money than to use it to pay for this narcissistic billionaire's legal defense. But of course, we won't do that here in Florida because my idea makes sense, and Mr. Patronis clearly doesn't want to do anything that makes sense here in Florida. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.